Alright guys, we gotta talk about Deer Days here today, because we did finally get some new information on this game during Bushiroad's little strategy presentation thing they had the other day, where they did confirm that we are getting even more fucking DLC for this game. Which, on the one hand, I'm actually pretty excited about, because that means we're getting new cards. But on the other hand, I'm also kind of pissed, because you know that it's going to be overpriced, like everything related to this game is. But all that nonsense aside, they did confirm that new content is coming to the game. Now, they did not announce an entire third card pass, which doesn't necessarily mean there won't be a third card pass. Booster Set 8 was initially announced just on its own before later being revealed to be the first wave of Card Pass 2. So that could be the case here. But for right now, the only thing we have confirmed is one more set being added to the game. Which, it's actually a little odd the way they're doing this, because instead of it just being the next sets in line, we're actually getting a combination set here, because they announced the additional special set, which is coming out April 25th. No price point confirmed yet for this. I expect it to be $20, because that's what all the other standalone sets are if you don't get them as part of the Card Pass bundles. But this set is going to include all of the new cards from the Festival Booster 2023, as well as a portion of cards from D-Booster Set 11. Which, when I first saw this, my first thought was, what the fuck do you mean by a portion of cards? Which, fortunately, I didn't have to wait too long until I got an answer to that, because the very next day, they did make a post on their official site with a complete card list for what all is going to be in this set. So I'll put a link to that in the description below if you want to look through that on your own. But that list did confirm that this set will include the 56 new cards from the Festival Booster, as well as 41 out of the 101 cards that are in Set 11. So that means there are going to be 60 cards from Set 11 missing from this set. Not counting the collaboration stuff, because we knew we weren't going to be getting that anyway. But the next obvious question is, what specifically are we missing? Which, on the Festival Booster side, like I said, the only thing they are removing are the reprints, which normally wouldn't matter in the context of a video game. But one thing I do want to point out is that 3 of those reprints for Virina Arcs, Fosato, and Marjorie all actually had alternate arts, which apparently we're just not going to be getting at all, unfortunately. And then on the Set 11 side, I did go through the entire set, and I did make out a list of the 60 cards that are missing. I'll put those on screen now. Which, the most significant thing out of this list is the Silhouette and Mythiarch ride lines and their related support cards from the Youthquake manga. All of those are going to be missing, which does suck. I did want to build both those decks, especially Mythiarchs, just because I really love their artwork. But all of those are not going to be included. Beyond that, the support cards for the Set 8 Encounter decks, all of those are missing. Exaggerate Draco Kid is missing, which I'm personally kind of pissed about, because I wanted that card for my Baphometes deck, actually. And Lord knows Baphometes needs all the help he can get. But that card is out as well. A lot of the generic order support cards are missing. Besides the triple rare cycle cards, a lot of the lower rarity ones are not there. The orders that can cycle themselves back to hand at the end of the turn, all those are missing. And then just a lot of the, lower rarity generic stuff that, let's face it, probably wasn't going to see a lot of play anyway. All those are missing as well. So there is quite a bit missing here. I'm not totally sure why they're going with this method of releasing all these cards. But, of course, that leaves you wondering when, if at all, are we going to be getting the rest of Set 11, or potentially anything beyond that. Which, I would be shocked if this is the only set that ends up getting revealed, because it just seems like a really weird way to end things with like a set and a half. I don't know why you would come back after all this time just to release a portion of a set and then stop. So I think we are going to end up getting more beyond this that will include the rest of set 11 bundled into something else down the road, which I was thinking about this. I'm actually going to get a little bit far out into speculation land a little bit here, but bear with me. So when I was thinking about, like, you know, if they're going to do any additional DLC beyond the second card pass, what all they would want to add in and how far they would want to go, I was thinking that they're most likely not going to end up adding in the Divines era stuff, because that will come with, you know, the new energy mechanic, a few rule changes, the 50 card main deck, and all sorts of stuff like that. So in order to implement all of that into Deer Days, they would have to significantly overhaul the entire deck, the entire game. They would have to redo all of the NPC decks in order to give them 4 extra cards, which they could just, you know, take the easy route and just give every deck 4 copies of that one light elemental promo card that uses energy. But that would suck. So I was thinking that it's pretty unlikely that we end up getting the DZ sets. And if they wanted to implement that at some point, the easiest way to do it would probably be to just release an entirely new game. Which would also be nice, because that means we would get more single-player content too. But let's say that they don't want to add that stuff. They're going to save that for another game, maybe next year. But what they could do is go ahead and finish out the Wildress era cards for Deer Days. So, to finish out that era to bring us up to the beginning of DZ, the sets that we would still be missing after the second card pass would be the Festival Booster, D-Booster sets 11, 12, and 13, Lyrical Booster 4, the 2 Stride deck sets for Shiranui and Luard, and then the Triple Drive Booster. So that's 8 sets altogether. And again, let's say that they wanted to stick to the model they've been doing before, with the 1 card pass consisting of 4 waves of DLC. I was thinking, how could they compress these 8 sets into 4 waves of DLC and smash it all into 1 card pass to release it, finish out the Wildress era, and bring Deer Days to a nice good stopping point before maybe releasing a new game later. So, with this set revealed being all of the Festival Booster and part of set 11, if that's wave 1 of a potential 3rd card pass, then what would the other 3 waves consist of? And the best I could come up with is this, which it's a little tight, but it could work. So they could release set 12 as a wave, and then set 13 as a wave. And then for the final wave, it'll be another amalgamation set, kind of like this one, that can include the 60 cards we're still missing from set 11. The Triple Drive Booster actually only had 17 new cards in it. The rest of them were all reprints. So you could take the 17 new ones from the Triple Drive Booster, and then each of the 2 Stride deck sets only had 13 new cards apiece in them, I believe. So that's 26. So if you do the 26 Stride deck set cards, the 17 Triple Drive Booster cards, and the 60 you have left over from set 11, that would bring you to 103 cards, which would be roughly the size of your standard booster set. So that would take care of everything except Lyrical Booster 4. And the only thing I could think of with that is to just split it into thirds and put 30, 31 cards each into sets 12, 13, and then this last amalgamation sets I just came up with here. So that would put each of those sets to about 130 something cards, which will be just a hair bigger than some of the other sets they've done. They added in quite a few promos and all those stand-up deck set cards into set 10 when they released it as part of the second card pass. And that brought that set's card total to 120 something cards, I believe, before variants. So if these come to 130 something, it'll be a little bit bigger than set 10 ended up being, but not by much. So I think you could get away with that. Looking at the promo list, I think there's only about a dozen or so, somewhere in that neighborhood, of promo cards that haven't been added to the game yet, before we start getting into the newer ones that use energy and stuff, which obviously we won't be getting those. So they might have to sprinkle in those dozen or so cards in there somewhere too. Maybe 3 or 4 per set. But I think they could manage to squeeze all that in. It would be a little bit tight. Knowing them, they'll probably jack the price up a little bit for that card pass because it's slightly more content. But that was the best I could come up with to try to squeeze all the Wheeldress era stuff into 4 sets. And again, I think that could work. The odds of that actually happening, I don't know. This could just be me coping my way into trying to get what I want. But we'll wait and see what else they announce. I would be shocked if we don't get anything else beyond this one additional special set, because it just seems like such a weird stopping point that I would be stunned if we don't get at least one more thing to at least finish out set 11 and add in a little bit something else with it, maybe. But yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. In the meantime, we do have quite a bit of good stuff confirmed for this set. We will be getting all of the dress-up forms for the Lyrical Booster 1 bosses. We'll be getting the new forms for the glitter decks. We'll be getting the generic Nationless Over-Triggers. We'll be getting Greedon masks. We'll be getting the encounter lines for Blonde Azelle and Vermilion. So there's quite a bit of good stuff included in what we do have confirmed at the very least. So all of that is going to be coming down the pipeline pretty soon. It'll be out next month. I have no idea when I'll be purchasing it. I still haven't purchased the second fucking card pass yet, which I probably need to do that at some point because I think I have some gold points that are going to be expiring soon. But anyway, yeah, so we got confirmation of some good stuff coming, and at least reason to believe that there's going to be more stuff coming down the road. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye on this to see where else they go with this. And hopefully my speculation will end up being correct, and they do end up finishing out the Wheeldress era and giving us the rest of the cards up through the beginning of DZ. But anyway, I guess that's all I got to say, so lots of luck to you and yours.